Hi, Year 11. So welcome to our second lesson online. We're still looking at language analysis, and this lesson is designed to give you guys more practice, but this time working more closely with partners and your classmates to produce an answer. So the extract that we're going to be looking at today is called the Spacesuit. Now hopefully you'll remember it because we have actually looked at this extract before when we did a question 3. So fingers crossed you will remember it and already be familiar with it, so it shouldn't take you too long to think of the kinds of things that you could write about. So the deadline for this lesson is Thursday the 6th of February at 8 p.m. And just like before, you guys need to submit the worksheet to me on Teams. Just as before, you can find all of the class materials on Teams. Click on to Coronavirus Classes Week 1, and now we are on Lesson 2. So on there you'll be able to find this video file, as well as the PowerPoint that we're going to look at, the insert, the question paper. I'm going to delete the mark scheme to make you guys think a little bit harder. And then the most important file is this one here. This is your worksheet. So please open up that file now. And when you do, you'll see that it looks like this, just like the last one that we did, except now it should say Lesson 2. Please make sure you've got the correct worksheet open. You guys know exactly who I'm talking to when I say make sure you've got the correct worksheet open. And please don't print it off, screw it up, spit on it, throw it on the floor, etc. So the worksheet looks like this. So let's start off then just by reading the extract. So the extract is available on Teams. It's called the Spacesuit. So let's read it. Passage A, the Spacesuit. Astronaut A is based at a station in space and is sent on a mission to remove some hazardous debris which is occupying an orbit path. Do you remember this? Do you remember the rubbish in space that the astronaut has to go and get? We did spend like a week on this extract, I think, so hopefully you can remember it. I'd be really worried actually if some of you can't remember it. Let's read it anyway. I think it's always useful to recap. When Space Control called me, I was in the observation bubble, a glass-domed office that juts out from the axis of the space station like the hubcap of a wheel. Only a few yards away I could see the construction teams performing their slow-motion ballet as they put the station together like a giant jigsaw puzzle. And beyond them, 400 kilometres below, was the blue-green glory of the full Earth floating against the ravelled star clouds. Astronaut A here, I answered. What's the trouble? Our radar showing some metallic debris 3 kilometres away, almost stationary, about 5 degrees west of Sirius. Someone needs to go out and haul it aboard, get it out of orbit. Hastily, I clambered into my spacesuit. Our suits are really baby spaceships, just big enough to hold one person. They are cheerfully coloured stubby cylinders, about 2 metres long, and fitted with softly chattering, low-powered propulsion jets. Their accordion sleeves at the upper end fit with hospitable snugness around an astronaut's arms, and the gentle contours of the helmet's visor finish the feeling that you are being looked after by a responsible friend. Inside, I switched on the power and checked the gauges on the tiny instrument panel. All my needles were well in the safety zone, so I lowered the transparent hemisphere over my head and sealed myself in. For a short trip like this, I did not bother to check the suit's internal lockers, which were used to carry food and special equipment for extended missions. The conveyor belt decanted me into the airlock. Then the pumps brought the pressure down to 0, the outer door opened, and the last traces of air swept me out into the stars, turning me very slowly head over heels. I was now an independent planet, a little world of my own. I was sealed up in a tiny mobile cylinder, with a superb view of the entire universe. But I had practically no freedom of movement inside the suit. The padded seat and safety harness prevented me from turning around, though I could reach all the controls and lockers with my hands or feet. In space, the great enemy is the sun, which can blast you to blindness in seconds. Very cautiously, I switched the helmet's internal sunshade to automatic, so that whichever way the suit gyrated, my eyes would be shielded. Presently I found my target. He's found the debris. She has found the debris, we don't know the gender. A bright fleck of silver whose metallic glint distinguished it clearly from the surrounding stars. I stamped on the jet control pedal and felt the mild surge of acceleration as the low-powered rocket set me moving away from the station. After 10 minutes of steady thrust, I cut off the drive. So she has turned off the rockets, the engines, and they're completely still now in space. It would take me 5 minutes to coast the rest of the way, and not much longer to return with my salvage. So everything's going fine so far. And it was at that moment I knew something was horribly wrong. It is never completely silent inside a spacesuit. You can always hear the gentle hiss of oxygen, the faint whir of fans and motors, the susurration of your own breathing. These sounds are the unnoticed background of life in space, for you're aware of them only when they change. Normally you hear all these small background noises that you don't even notice, but when you hear those background noises suddenly stop, that's when you realise that you're in trouble. I guess you might be a little bit worried if you've heard your own breathing stop, though, to be fair. They had changed now. To them had been added a sound which I could not identify. It was an intermittent, muffled thudding, sometimes accompanied by a scraping noise. I remember when we first did this bit, explaining what a thudding, scraping noise was. Remember this is thudding, and then scraping would be like fingernails on a blackboard. I froze instantly, holding my breath and trying to locate the alien sound with my ears. The meters on the control board gave no clues. All the needles were rock steady on their scales. No flickering red lights warned of impending disaster. All the gauges are completely normal. Nothing's going, danger. There are no flashing lights. Everything looks normal, but they can tell that something is wrong. Then, 3 things had gone wrong all at once. The oxygen regulator had run wild and sent the pressure soaring. The safety valve had failed to blow, and a faulty joint had given way. Blind panic meant that it took me several attempts before I could press the right button and switch my transmitter to the emergency wavelength. "Station!" I gasped. "I'm in trouble!" I never finished. They say my yell wrecked the microphone. I must have lunged forward, despite the safety harness, and smashed against the upper ledge of the control panel. When the rescue squad reached me a few minutes later, I was unconscious, with an angry bruise across my forehead. Coming to my senses an hour later, I saw our medical staff gathered around my bed. Okay, so before we continue, please go back through this extract and find any words that you don't know. And there's a section on your worksheet here to write down the words that you maybe don't know or might need to revise. So please write the original word here, the Chinese translation here, and the English definition here. Pause this video now whilst you do that. Right, so the next task that you need to do is a summary task. So very simple, I want you guys to summarise the text that we have just read, and you're actually going to do this as a speaking summary task. So I don't know if you guys have used Flipgrid before, but let me explain. So Flipgrid is a really good website where you can record yourself speaking and I can see your responses and you guys can also see each other's responses. So that way, if you're a little bit stuck on any of the things that we're doing, you can listen to what each other is saying and that should help you. So the link that you need is right here. It's also on your worksheet right here, and you can also find it on Teams. So if you go onto our Teams and then click the Flipgrid tab, And you do need a password to enter this. The password I will send to you separately, so you enter that there. I think it will ask you to log in or to create an account, so please do create that account. Use your school email, so click Microsoft account and then use your school email to do that. So after you've created your account and input the password, this is what it looks like. I couldn't find a more up-to-date picture. If any of you guys have got one, send it to me so that I can update it, because some of you guys are missing off this picture. Yeah, so it looks like this. So when you get onto it, just click this tab here, 3 topics, and do them in order. So we're starting off here now, obviously, with number 1, Spacesuit summary. So it will be really clear what to do. You just click plus and add a response. And you're going to record yourself summarising the extract, the spacesuit. So that should be between 30 to 60 seconds long, and you should include lots of relevant details, so small things that happen in the text, minimum of 30 seconds. So please make sure that you pause the recording now and upload your speaking of your summary of the spacesuit. Okay, so hopefully you've uploaded that now. If you do have any technical problems, then let me know so I can help you guys to fix them. Also, just ask each other on your WeChat, hey, how do I do this, and help each other solve those problems. Next, you also need to type up your summary below. Aim to have that about 100 words long. Pause it now and type up your summary. Okay, so let's take a look at our question then. So once again, this is an old question, so it's almost identical to the new exam, except this one will ask you to look at 4 images per paragraph, whereas the new exam will ask you to look at 3 per paragraph. So the question says, question 2, reread the descriptions of the space station and what astronaut A saw in paragraph 1, beginning when satellite control called me. B, the spacesuit in paragraph 4, beginning hastily I clambered into my spacesuit. Select 4 powerful words or phrases from each paragraph. Your choices should include imagery. Explain how each word or phrase is used effectively in the context. Write about 200 to 300 words. So, you guys are going to do this. Let me take off my headphones. You guys are going to do this in partners later on, but I want you to do the planning stage by yourself. So the planning stage is super simple. Firstly, go back onto your worksheet and you will notice that I've copied in the paragraphs there and given you a planning grid for paragraph 1 and for paragraph 2. So complete those first and then come back to this video. So pause the video now and then we will go on to the next bit. Pause now. Okay, so the next 2 sections are Flipgrid sections. You are going to upload your ideas for what you could say about paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 on Flipgrid. So speaking task 2, this is for just paragraph 1. So you're going to do 1 recording for paragraph 1 and 1 recording for paragraph 2. So on this Flipgrid, it's called number 2, the spacesuit paragraph 1, and the link is on your worksheet. You should share your ideas about paragraph 1 on Flipgrid and you should talk for between 3 to 5 minutes, so 3 minutes minimum. In your talk you should clearly state the overall effect of the paragraph, pick 3 images that you can talk about, so about 1 minute per image or slightly longer, analyse connotations and say the effect of these images. Why does the writer want you to feel a particular way? So you're going to go on to Flipgrid. You're going to go on to number 2, the spacesuit paragraph 1, and you're going to upload that there. Please pause the recording now to do that. Okay, and then I'm sure that you can guess what the next thing is. You are going to record yourself doing your planning for paragraph 2, and that is called, let me correct that, that is called number 3, the spacesuit paragraph 2. Exactly the same task. You need to speak for between 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure that you start off introducing the overall effect of the paragraph, pick 3 images, analyse connotations and say the effect of those images. Do use your planning sheet to help you, and it's right here, number 3, paragraph 2. So please pause the recording now to do that. Okay, so the first part of that video was recorded last week in Vietnam. Since then, I've spoken to you guys and asked for your feedback, and you guys have told me that perhaps the amount of work is too much. Therefore, I've decided to make a new ending to this video just to simplify the tasks that you're going to have, and to make sure that you are receiving the correct amount of work, because I don't want to overload you with too much. So this is all that you need to do on Wednesday's lesson. So the deadline is for Wednesday at 8 p.m. Wednesday at 8 p.m. And you need to do 2 things. So one is you need to complete the planning worksheet and submit that on the team's assignment page. So you are only going to do the planning worksheet. You are not going to write it up yet, nothing like that, just the reading and the planning. Let me make sure that you know what that is. So that is this planning worksheet here. And you're going to do the translation box, the small summary, and the paragraph plans. And that's it. You don't need to write anything up. Okay, so just the plan. And you also need to complete the 3 Flipgrid tasks. And the links to those are also on the planning sheet right here, okay? So that's all that you need to do. Just do the planning worksheet and the 3 Flipgrid tasks. Please submit the planning worksheet to me on Teams using the Teams assignment page. So just go onto our Teams, click on assignments, and then it's week 1, lesson 2. So that's where you need to submit that. If you have any problems, then please do let me know. I'm online to help you, mostly in the afternoons and evenings. That's everything. Bye bye.